Hello and welcome to Between the Books. I'm Isadora.
And my name is Shannon.
And today we're discussing The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Brigitte Knightley.
Normally we talk about what we are currently reading, but we talked all about that in our previous episode, our mid-year freakout tag episode, so go listen to that. Give that a listen.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of recommendations from that, and also some books that maybe we don't recommend. Just be warned.
So this book is actually based on a published fan fiction, Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal of Being in Love. It's a Dramione fan fiction, and our activity for this podcast is going to be reading the 200,000 word fan fiction and comparing and contrasting with the book.
Yeah.
So we haven't read the fan fiction yet, so you'll get our unfiltered thoughts during the first half of this podcast, but stay tuned for the second half where we compare to the fan fiction.
Yeah, and it's actually I think it's going to be so interesting because I would say probably most, at least readers that are going to start reading this book right away, probably have read the fan fiction. Like, I don't know, I'm just guessing, but I think it's probably true.
And we have not.
We have not. So, okay, so let me give you a little synopsis of this book. So, when Osric Mordaunt, member of a League of Assassins, finds himself sick with a degenerative disease, he seeks the help of a specialist healer, Aurane Ferrum. Osric bribes Aurane to help him, and the two enemies enter a begrudging working relationship. However, as they work together, they find themselves growing more and more attracted to each other.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So we actually received copies of these books as ARCs, Advanced Reader copies, at Emerald City Comic Con, which was super exciting. This was actually the first ARC I've ever read.
Yay!
So some of the things that we talk about might not, or might be different from the published version. So keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And also another just quick warning, there's a lot of like fantasy words in this that we might mispronounce.
Or sorry.
There is like a little, what's it called?
There's a glossary
at the end that tells you how to pronounce it, but
we are going to do our best.
I'm going to do my best to remember because I read it in a certain way and it might be mixed up in my head. Okay, but Shannon, okay, so what were your overall thoughts about this book?
I thought it was fine.
Fine.
That's my solid 3-star expectation of the book. I thought it was fine. I thought it had some high highs. Honestly, yeah, I thought it had some high highs and some low lows.
Yes.
That evened out to fine. Mm-hmm. I wasn't bored at any point per se, but truly the epic highs and lows of published fan fiction was going on in this book. I don't know, Isadora, what did you think?
I think just like to tie to that, we were just discussing this a little bit and before this, and I personally think that this book could have used a little more editing and like just, you know, something, and I think that would have made me like more, and maybe you too as well. Like like from our critiques and stuff, there's definitely things that were like, damn, I wish this was different. But a lot of it was like, I wish it had been this way because I really liked these parts. So I think that's what was tricky about it, because there are things that I didn't like and there are things that I liked. So I'm very torn between it. But I think by the end of the book, I did really like it. But my thing is that I've been so tired this week, Shannon. I've been so tired. I came back from vacation and went back to work, and it's been just really intense, and I just haven't had the time to read it. So whenever I picked up the book, it was like 9, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and I was already quite tired. So for the first half of the book, I was only reading it at night, and I was fighting for my life to be awake. And because it's a fantasy book, there was just so many new words and new concepts, and my brain it was too late and too tired for me to grasp the concepts. So a lot of it, I would read a paragraph and be like, I don't even know what I just read. So I think if I reread it, I would like that first part more. But everything changed, Shannon, when this past weekend I decided to go to the park during the day, and I brought the book and I started reading pretty much halfway through it, and I think that helped because I got so into it starting from that. Like my view, I also think that it was at one point of the book where things kind of took a turn. Like the whole romance took a turn. I think the plot changed a little bit. anyways, this is a long story, but it's just to say that I did really, really enjoy the second part. I thought it was so funny. And by the end, I was like really interested in the romance and the characters and everything. But I would say that the first half was a bit of a drag for me. But again, I really couldn't tell you if it's because I was tired or if it's because of the actual book.
I think that's actually so fun and such a fun thing to remember, which is that our external circumstances dictate a lot of what we enjoy.
Yes.
So if you aren't liking something, take a break, even though I did need you to read this for this podcast.
Yes, I needed to finish it. But I changed my environment, changed the time that I was reading, and that worked.
So we're first going to talk about the thing that I think we were most interested in. I think a lot of readers are going to be interested in. How does this book transition in terms of world building from fan fiction to published novel? Because I realized this actually, a lot of popular fan fictions that became published novels, you're thinking 50 Shades of Grey, we're thinking After.
The Love Hypothesis.
Ali Hazelwood, Love Hypothesis. A lot of them take place in AUs, or alternate universes. Yeah. So Edward Cullen is your boss. But the fan fiction, now we don't know anything about the fan fiction. I did read the synopsis of the fan fiction. It takes place more in a canon divergent universe. There are still lots of elements of the original work in the fan fiction. So how is that going to be changed for the published novel?
Yeah.
And my thoughts is that it did it. Interestingly. So like Isadora said, this is a fantasy novel. The world is set up that there are these 6 or so. I think there's more, actually.
Oh, there's so many.
There's so many. There's factions that basically follow the bright path or the dark paths. I don't know if you actually read the glossary, but there's actually a middle path.
There is a middle path, which is basically the Fae.
Yeah.
Did you read that? It was like I forget what it's called.
Not mentioned in the book, though. If you're a nerd, go to the glossary. But basically, there's these factions that follow the light path, these factions that follow the dark path. But they are more like guilds. And then there's actual, like, kings and queens. In this book, they're called tiendoms that actually run the government and things like that. And the magic system in this book follows, or is called Saith. What's it, Saith or Saith?
Saith, yeah.
It's called Saith. And it's, every person has it. And if you become really good at wielding it, you get these things called takins, and then they help you wield it better. And the more fantasy terms that I'm throwing at you, I need you to also understand that all these terms are thrown at you in like the first 1 or 2 chapters of this book.
Yeah.
You are kind of thrown right into the action of the world and the concepts, and it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, and that works in a fan fiction because we know the world, we know everything. And I think this book didn't do the best into introducing us to this. In theory, it's kind of a new world, really. Opposite to what the fan fiction had to deal with. So yeah, I at the beginning there was so much information. I was like, I don't want to understand. I can't even pay attention. I'm not gonna retain all this information right now.
Yeah, and it was presented to you in such a way that the information was not immediately important. Yeah. So because it was not immediately important, you forget what is happening because you're being thrown into the deep end with all these terms and how the world works and everything. And I think you came up with like a different way that the book could have started.
Yes. Which I think that because we are thrown right away into almost the inciting incident, which is when the two of them meet. I think we should have taken a step back. I think we should have been with, like we mentioned in the synopsis, Osric gets injured, and that's why he needs her help. And I think that we should have seen that injury. We should have been with him, or even right after that injury. But when we see them, it just feels like such a thing that happened so long ago that he's like, oh yeah, this thing hasn't bothered me. I think it's bad. And then it was just like her at the beginning too. I think her characters just didn't give a lot of didn't care that much. I don't know. Like, it was a weird introduction to both of their characters. And that almost didn't match to how we saw them later on. I don't know.
So the way that the book starts, I'm really interested in how the fan fiction starts. Because I can already see in my mind, if you're reading a fan fiction, I don't care about setting up the world building. I want to see the two characters meet. So I bet in the fan fiction, they might meet very quickly.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's a holdover from the fan fiction. The two leads meet very quickly in this book. And we don't really get a lot of time to digest even their own personalities before the two of them meet. And I wish the world was explained in a different way. I think it's an interesting world. I wouldn't fault it for anything.
Yeah.
There are concepts of it in it that are interesting. They have these sort of magical animal messengers called deofolds that are really funny because they talk to the person you're sending a message to.
They don't even need phones. They can just send them to talk to them, which is funny.
And I thought, and that concept was really funny. But yeah, just the way the information was presented made it very difficult to work through, even if you weren't reading it at 9 or 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah, I think I also wanted to say too that this is, like, you can tell by the title, this is a romance, primarily romance book. Guess romantasy. It's not a high in theory. It's not what you're going in it for. You're not going for a high fantasy book. Obviously, that the element is fine, but I think that throughout the whole thing, there was so much of it being thrown at you that I was like, I'm confused about what this book is supposed to be about. Because, and that's what I think that 180, not 180, but that change in the middle is that I think they started focusing more on the romance.
Yes.
Halfway through the second half. So I do think that, like, that world building just felt so, like, it's such a big part of what maybe should have been more of a background, like, world, than an actual, like, played such a big part, like, the whole thing with, like, the kings and queens and, like, stuff about, like, the different orders. And I was like, I don't understand what the actual book is about now.
It's very rare that my critique for a book is, there was too much world building. I wish it would tone down the world building. There's something else that bothered me about the world building, which is that none of it informed me about the aesthetics of the world.
Yes.
I was reading the first half of this book, and I could not tell you whether the aesthetics were, like, 18th centuries London, England, or modern day. They have technology, so it's not just magic. Magic makes it kind of difficult to think about, like, levels of technology. But they do have technology, so what is it? And nothing about what they were doing, what they were wearing, the architecture even, the level of technology informed me about what the world even looked like.
Also, I think they, like, walked everywhere. Like, I don't remember a car, but I also don't remember horses.
No. They have magical, like, teleportation. Like,
but still, you gotta walk to them. They walked a lot, I guess.
But were there horses?
I don't remember them being mentioned. I mean, I'm sure there are horses in that world, but, like, that's, like, I feel like that's a good indication of what type, like, period of time you're in, and we didn't even get that. So
the thing that really stood out to me when I was a detective, I was, like, registering, trying to figure out, like, what did the buildings even look like? What are we dealing with? And there's a scene that takes place at a lighthouse in this book, and I went, okay, so there are ships. So there are ships. But if there are ships, how does the magical teleportation work? And so I had so many questions about just how the world worked. So there was so much of it, and still none of it really helped me understand the world.
Yeah. And I do think that by the end of it, you do definitely get a better sense of it, and you understand a little more, and you're more open to new information. So I wish she had saved some of that information to a little later on. Like, give us the bare minimum to, like dip our toes, but by the end, like, maybe you can choose one thing here and there, but But yeah, I think that's it for non-spoilers. I think we want to get into a little bit more of the details.
Yes. So we're going to jump to spoilers now and actually talk about some things that we did like about the book.
Yes.
So read the book if you want to hear about the stuff that we did enjoy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then come back and listen to the rest of this podcast. And yeah, okay. So I think we really want to start talking about the writing style.
Yes.
I personally think right away you can tell that she is a talented writer. She does, I'm sure she has a lot of experience. This is her first published work, or like official, like I don't know what the word would be, but I guess she has published fan fiction, but this is the first original work. Traditionally published, exactly. But you can tell that she does have like, she's a good writer in terms of like prose and stuff.
Yes.
And I do really also like how funny she is and how quippy, and like I feel like the sentences for the most part, like I don't know, they flowed well together.
Yeah.
And like I was entertained and I laughed out loud so many times. I will say though, quite wordy. I think I mentioned it a little at the beginning too. Like sometimes there were words that I couldn't tell if they were new fantasy words that she was introducing or actual words that I just didn't know. Like she must have had a thesaurus in hand and she was using that thesaurus.
English is your second language, isn't it?
Okay, Shannon. Okay.
No, there were a lot of words I didn't know too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What else? Yeah, what do you think about the
I like the writing style a lot. I thought it was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the way that the characters like quipped with each other, I thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I wished, honestly, that this book leaned more into the absurdist element of stuff that was happening
Yes.
In this book. Like, for example, so many funny things were happening in this book. Like, every time he would secretly go meet her,
Mm-hmm.
and she would have a different clinic that was dealing with, like, different, like...
Yeah.
like, your nipples being, like, different, or, like, sawed off, or, like, your balls being different sizes was so funny. It dealt with, like, different things. And the scene when they're at the bar, and there's just a bar fight happening in the background
Casually.
of the scene is just so funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish more absurdist things happen in the book.
Yeah, or when he goes to like, when he's stabbed at the dinner party.
That's
and
my
he's
favorite scene of the book. Where he gets stabbed and I don't know about you, is that your favorite too? Or do you have
I
different
think I did really like that whole part, like
Yeah.
when they were at her house.
Yeah, my favorite scene was when he gets stabbed and then he is actively bleeding. He's actively dying. And he's trying to get eye contact with her, but he's trapped by societal convention. And he can't, like, make eye contact
And he's like
with her.
basically losing consciousness. And then he does faint on the pudding.
Yeah.
Is it the pudding or something?
yeah.
Like, it's just like silly. So many like silly things happen.
I wish it was sillier, honestly.
I wish it was sillier. It's so fun. And I think him in particular was such like a silly character.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I thought it was so funny. I like literally was laughing out loud. Like I do
Yeah.
think I think she's really talented. And I think if the book, like I mentioned before, like if it had maybe more editing in terms of the plot, it would have been like pretty successful. And I would say that for the most part, the transition between fan fiction and the like traditionally original work wasn't the best, but I do think that she did a good job at not making like obviously a Harry Potter referenced book.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't know that this was originally Harry Potter fanfiction, I would have not guessed it.
Yeah.
Like I do think that she did create an original world, although there are a lot of little elements that you can either tie to Harry Potter or any fantasy world. But I do think that like with her writing, like she did manage to make it her own.
Yes.
Especially with like all the silly stuff. Like I love that.
Yeah. I'm really interested in the fan fiction because I don't know what the premise of it is. I don't know what it's like. And weirdly, the main plot being about that there is a disease that is killing children and that funding for the vaccine is being blocked by bureaucracy kind of put a downer on a lot of the book.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, it's fantasy.
Yeah.
You can write about whatever you want. That's fine. That's the plot of the book. And even if it was the plot of the fan fiction, that's fine. But, political climate and all, it made it feel a bit of a downer in like this very otherwise silly fun book. And I'm just wondering what her inspiration for that was, or if that was in the fan fiction.
Yeah, I don't know.
And she decided to put this in so that there's a reason for them to meet and, start working together.
Well, and not even that. I guess like from what we're learning, the main evil character, which I don't think we know exactly who it is yet, looks like is fabricating this virus or disease and spreading it.
Which is...
So it's so funny how they're like, it's so funny. I think that's another really funny thing. Then the way that she writes it is so funny, is how the antagonists are trying to find who donated this big sum of money.
Yes.
And he's just in the room and he's like, wow, this is so awkward, guys. I'm right here. I mean, he doesn't say it, but I just in his head. And it's I don't know if we mentioned, but he gives this money to the funding for the vaccine. Yes. And then in exchange of her healing him. But he's already given the money. So now she's just like doing that. But she's not getting anything else from him. But then about halfway through the book, she wants him to help her with information because her Swanstone, which is the place where her order lives, is being attacked. So now she's getting that information from him. So I think the writing also got a little messy because there were so many new things to focus on, new threads to follow.
Yes.
Like it was we had to follow his healing and her looking up this new like type of magic that would heal him, and then we had to follow this new thing with the Swanstone being attacked, and then follow also the progress of that vaccine and the world.
Yes, there's a lot of threads,
and also just their rivalry too was another big, obviously main plot.
Yeah, and by the end of the book, some of them do get like threaded together. Yes. But there's still a lot of like open questions, a lot of plot in my romantasy, which is like fine. It's fine. It is fine. It's just the way that it's introduced to the reader is a little bit heavy, which I know we talked about a lot.
Yeah, and then we'll bring up something too, because just to the end of the book, when she has that, because now we're into spoilers, when she has that realization at the end, when they're talking by the window
about why they would want, why you want to fabricate a disease.
Yeah, exactly. So she comes to that realization. She reveals it to him.
Yes.
And then they continue talking about other things. Like, it didn't even feel that big. And then it was more like oh yes, remember this part of the plot? Add it in, but let them continue talking and having the romantic bit. It was just so odd the way that things were put together, you know what I mean? Like, I think the way that, like, when things would be brought up, it just felt off, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And you and I had the same reaction to that scene, which is that Orion says, or why she thinks that a vaccine might want to be stopped and why people might want children to keep dying of a disease. And she says it's because of one of these other factions. And you and I went... The Dreer. And you and I went, the what?
Who?
The who? We are like a page from the end.
Yeah.
The who?
Yeah, and it felt like it was supposed to be like this big review.
Yes.
It is for them, but I was like, I'm sure you mentioned this once.
Yes.
Like 200 pages ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they will delve into it more in the second book, but yeah, I don't know if it just felt odd. It felt oddly placed.
I'm also now wondering when, like, the second book or whatever comes out a year later, if you and I are going to pick it up and be like,
the what?
What the what?
I'm going to have to reread
What is
book.
This? Who is this?
Yeah.
But I think we can jump into, I think, both of our favorite aspects of this book, which is our two main romantic leads.
Yes.
Orion and Osric. I really enjoyed their relationship.
I did too. I think at the beginning, he was a little annoying to me. Again, like, their relationship, if we were to compare to the fan fiction, obviously those two characters already know each other in the fan fiction. And I feel like in this, their introduction wasn't... It didn't come from like hey, we're strangers and we're slowly making a connection. I feel like they almost were just like had this relationship and these thoughts about each other, and they were like, I don't know how to explain, but I feel like they were just too comfortable with each other right away.
I don't know if you also had this feeling. I feel like, so the conceit of this book is that they come from rival factions.
Yeah.
I felt like they were enemies with each other. Almost like there was a reason.
Yeah.
But it wasn't developed enough for me to be like, why do you guys hate each other so vehemently?
Yes. I feel like they were just annoyed at each other a lot at the beginning, and I was like, okay. Later on, he kept noticing how comfortable she felt around him, and like she would pass by him and like pass really close, and he's like, oh my gosh, no one passes by a fire and that close. She's so comfortable to me. But it didn't feel like a development. It felt like it was like that right away. Like, she was never afraid of him.
No.
And she hated what he was doing, but it was more of an almost annoyance. Like, she wasn't, like, acting like, yeah, you're killing people, but it was more like, oh, I can't believe you kill people, as opposed to, you're a murderer. And I don't know, part of it was, but also the way that things that she would say, it was just too quippy right away, which is fun, but it was like, you guys, like, you're a healer and he's a literal murderer. Like, I think I need a little more hate and instead of just funny, like, I hate you type thing, you know?
Yeah, I think that boils down to my feelings about the book. Also that the hatred kind of felt almost one-sided. Like, they both hated each other, but she hated him because he was a murderer, and he hated her because she was a little prissy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And those feel like very different vibes.
Yeah. And then for me, I will honestly think Osric is my favorite character.
Yeah.
And first of all, he fell so hard. And Shannon, I'm obsessed with that. I just love how they, like, because she's still, like, you can tell that she's kind of falling for him too, but it's way more low-key than him. Like, this man, and it's funny because when he starts noticing that he's falling for her, he's like, ew. It's just, he's like, no, I can't do that. Like, no, I'm not supposed to be having these feelings. And I love when he is at the bar and he sees her dressed up and he doesn't right away notice that it's her. And he's like, ooh, that's my type. And he's like, oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it was so good. And I love how he kept being annoyed that she wasn't attracted to him. Like, he kept being like, wait, you don't think I'm pretty? Or he'd be like, whenever he had to, like, take off his clothes for the examinations, and he would be like flexing and stuff, and he's like, why isn't she looking at me? So funny.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I just really, really enjoyed. I think it's, especially because he's supposed to be like the brooding, the big tall man who is strong and kills people.
Yes. She's not impressed by him.
Impressed by him, and he's just like, he's like becoming a simp, man. Like, it's so, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I love the enemies to lovers, even though, like, I don't know how I don't know. I guess it is enemies to lovers.
It is.
It was just that I wish it had been done a little different at the beginning.
Yes.
But overall, definitely enemies to lovers. Yes. And I think it was fun. And I don't think I've ever read it in this way. Mm-hmm. And with the actual, like, oh no, I like her, I'm so annoyed by this. It was more annoyance. Yeah. And I thought that was so funny. And even with her too, being like, oh, we can never be together. And also, he kills people. Like, I don't know. It's so good.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's enemies to lovers. And I'm a sucker for enemies to lovers. It's once they start, like, actually being together, the tension when they're next to each other, when they're on the lighthouse. Oh, the lighthouse.
Ooh.
But, the lighthouse. When they're on the lighthouse. And
when she falls asleep on his shoulder. And she
falls asleep on his shoulder. And there's, like, the birds come or whatever. And they, like, are holding on to each other. Ooh! It makes even the little things feel so scandalous.
And I love that, like, she wakes up and she sees the reflection and she sees that he's watching her with, like, hunger in his eyes, or, like, want. And she notices, there's a lot of times when she notices him and he's like, his expression, like, his want for her is so apparent on his face, which I just think is so interesting that she knows. And they both know, but they don't say it. And honestly, I was reading it today because I finished the book today, but that scene when they're in, I love when he sees her in a dress and he's like, oh my gosh, she's not beautiful, she's just pretty, okay? She's pretty. But he's like, oh my gosh. And the scene in her bedroom, when during the party when they're dancing. Shannon, that scene. Oh my god, when he was like, gonna dance, I was like, ah!
Yeah.
And then when they kiss, oh, I was screaming. Actually, I'm so sad that they only kissed once, but I still really appreciate it because it was very much of like a slow burn.
Yes.
And even though they kiss, but then they're not together, you know? They were just like, oh, that was a funny thing we just did. But it was so good.
Yeah, I wonder where the second book is going to take their relationship. Because it feels like it's going to be, I don't know, my guess would be a lot of, oh, we can't be together. We're in different factions. We can't be together. And I wonder how they're going to reconcile with that.
Yeah. I need to say this. it fully feels like they should just cut the fanfic in half. You know what I mean? Like, this ending didn't feel right for an ending for a book.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't like a beginning, middle, end for this first book. Like, it just felt like it was like randomly a scene. That's why we were reading and then we were getting to the end and we were like, wait, what? Like, this can't just end in a random scene.
It kind of just ends. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting in terms of a book.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, I guess we're going to see what the fanfic's like.
Okay, we're going to go read the fanfic now. And we're going to let you know our thoughts.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We're going to just keep listening. It's going to be the next minute. We're going to talk about it. See ya. Hi. So we're back. It's been a week.
And we both definitely read the fanfiction.
Yeah, for sure. I did. Shannon, did you finish the fanfic? How many words was it? Do you remember?
It was 200,000 words.
Yeah, and in the past week, did you get entertained by some Harry Potter Dramione fanfic?
I think before I answer this question, I need to preface what we learned in the week since we recorded the podcast.
Yes.
Which is that the Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of falling in love isn't actually the irresistible urge to fall for your enemy, kind of.
Yeah.
Which is that, and it makes sense because it's still up on AO3.
Yeah.
But the author took a lot of inspiration from Dramione fanfiction and the irresistible urge to fall, or the Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of falling in love, and that became Irresistible Urge, but it's not pull and publish.
Yeah, which was a surprise to me.
Which was also a surprise to me.
Yeah, because...
I think a lot of what we said in the first part of the podcast holds, in that it definitely takes a lot of inspiration from, like, Dramione and, like, tropes and stuff, and definitely from the fanfiction. Yeah. But after learning that, I got kind of demoralized. And I did try reading the fanfiction. I got 2 chapters in, and decided there's other things I could do with my life.
Yeah, by that point, she asked me if I thought she still needed to read it because I was basically almost done.
I came on my knees and I went, please free me, Isadora, free me.
So, okay, wait, let me talk about my experience. I started reading and I was like, okay, I'm going to take notes and see what's similar and stuff. And then the chapters kept going and I was like, this isn't the same book. Because at that point we hadn't realized, and then Shannon told me. But yeah, I honestly haven't read other books that have been fanfics, so my assumption was that it was going to basically be a copy and paste, roughly. Like, obviously the world building was going to be different, but I generally thought like the scenes itself or like the lines and stuff were going to be very similar, and there was nothing. It was not. Like, yeah, like you said, like there's a lot of similar things. Like their dynamic, their bickering and being annoyed at each other was pretty similar. And in the... Also, you said the title wrong. It's Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of being in love.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a fake fan. I didn't finish it. I read only 2 chapters.
Yeah. So in that one, it was similar to the other book in the sense that they were put together for some sort of like... They weren't super happy about being put together. They had a goal, right? And the whole thing was that they wouldn't be together for a while, and then they would meet up, do a little fun little adventure, then leave, and then days would pass, and then they would see each other again. For the most part, later on it becomes different, which I wonder if that's going to be in the second. I mean, not that it's the same book, but I wonder. I think the dynamic might follow the same path. I think that the writing was different. I thought the writing from the fanfic was way more digestible and like less fancy words that I didn't know about. I thought it flowed better overall. Like, obviously you can tell from the book that she put more care in the prose, but also I preferred the way that, because I still think it was really good in the fanfic. Also, I didn't really say, but I did love the fanfic, by the way. I am a Dramione fan, guys. I've been turned, and that's who I am now. Yeah, no, I thought it was cool. Also, a lot of the pagan things were similar, how like they had to go do their thing in the... I don't know if it's pagan in the actual book, but like...
I think it was Celtic inspired.
Celtic, yeah, okay, yeah. I think in this one, yeah, kind of pagan Celtic. They would have to do things in those special dates. I think that this one was also different because it was all in Draco's perspective, the whole book. And also, we don't really see them do anything apart from being with each other or thinking about each other. For the most part, like we see Draco literally thinks about Hermione the entire book. And it's actually so fun because when he realizes, starts having feelings for her, it's so fun, which is, we kind of see that in the other book. But the good thing about this one is that they make Draco be a nice person. Like, he's still cocky and he's still got like his moments, but he's not evil, which Osric, I already forgot his name.
Oh no.
Osric definitely obviously kills people and is definitely kind of evil in a way. Like, in a way, not evil, but like, he's not a good person.
No.
Yeah.
And in fact, I don't know if you like felt this way about Irresistible Urge.
Yeah.
But did you feel that they became lovers too quickly? Do you think they became into each other?
Into each other, yeah. I think so. In this one, in the fanfic, took way longer. And also because we are not in Hermione's head. It's all from Draco. So we actually don't know how Hermione's feeling, we guess. But we don't see a lot from her. But yeah, I do agree. I think in this one, obviously, and especially because they had history already, there's so much more to that.
Because in this one, Osric he is killing people. He's going out and killing people.
Yeah.
And Orion has to keep being like, I'm turning a blind eye.
I know, the whole thing was that I can't be with him. He kills people. Yeah. And this one is literally Draco being like, I can't be with her. I'm Draco fucking Malfoy. And she's Hermione Granger. That was the main thing that he would think, which was so funny. But I did love seeing him like be a huge simp for Hermione. It was so fun. And it was also not a lot about, like, they didn't really mention any of the Harry Potter stuff. It was very separated from that. We barely see Harry and Ron in it or other characters. It's very much following just them. So it was pretty original, I think. Like, I thought it was really cool. That's kind of it, honestly, yeah, in terms of the similarities. I won't, like, review this because obviously this is a Irresistible Urge review and not a Mortifying Ordeal review. But yeah, I'm just quickly going to spoilers. In this one, so they are put together because Hermione is doing this big research thing and they think that it's going to be like a big breakthrough and they're afraid that someone's going to attack her and try to stop her.
So it is like healing focused, right? It's like medicine focused.
Yes, but we don't see her heal until the very end, kind of.
I'm wondering where Brigitte Knightley got the idea of like the sick children plot.
Okay, so there is a little bit of that in this-ish.
Because it feels like such a downer for the world that Irresistible Urge takes in, that I was wondering if that was a pull or not.
So the tie of this is that it's not mentioned for like most of it, but it is what we find out. Draco doesn't know because she doesn't tell him for a long time what her research is. Later in the book, like very much like third of the way in, we find out that she's trying to cure lycanthropy, like for werewolves, lycanthropy. Yeah, she wants to cure that, so she's trying to collect things to make a cure.
Okay.
And there is Greyback from the books.
Yes.
Fenrir Greyback, he's there. He's the big villain, but he also just shows up at the end. He hears that she's doing that, so he tries to infect more people. And also there's another guy that is kind of like a researcher as well that's on his side, and he's trying to create a strain of the or like, I don't know if we would call it virus, but like the thing that they would be able to turn people on days that weren't the full moon, which I guess in this one they can only be turned in the full moon.
Yeah.
So I guess like you know how in the book there's that guy creating the virus type thing, or keeping the virus. So I think this was the most similar thing I could think, is that they were trying to do that. But yeah, it was basically that for a long time no one was actually attacking Hermione, so she kept being like, Draco, you don't even have to be here. Like no one knows about this. It's a secret. And then she starts actually being attacked and kidnapped and stuff, and then he like takes her to live with him at the manor. But it's fun because in the book, in the Mortifying Ordeal, is that, the Irresistible Urge. Wow, I'm confused with that. In the Irresistible Urge, we complained that whenever, I don't know if we mentioned this in the episode because it's been a while, but whenever they would go on their little adventures, they would always fail.
Yes.
And we knew it was going to happen, like every time, because the moment that she cured him, it would be done. So it wasn't like many little things that they could do. It was just, will he be healed or not? And if he's healed, the story kind of ends. So that's why they kept failing. In this one, they're trying to collect things, and they would go to like dangerous places to try to collect it.
See, I don't see why it couldn't have been that.
I know. Yeah.
I don't see why we couldn't have been making progress towards Osric's goal.
I agree.
Instead of going to different places, failing. And we were sort of making progress, but it didn't feel like we were making tangible progress.
And it just felt like silly. They would just go to this like fairy area and they would be like, touch me and use your takin and see if this will help me. That's all they did. Like there was no other action. Then they wouldn't work and then they would leave. Like there was no other action. There was no other exterior thing that they would have to pick and do. And this one, there's a really fun one where they went to, I forget where they went to, but they went to a monastery. I think it was during the solstice. And this one was the nuns. It was closed because it's the solstice, but they pretended they were like honeymooners and they really wanted to go there because it was where Mary Magdalene's skull was in.
Oh, wow.
Or whatever. And they were like, oh no, this was like, we want to pay our respects, we want to send a prayer, blah, blah, blah. And they trick them and then they go into like the tunnels and then there's a bunch of like wards that they have to fight and stuff. And then they get to the skull and the skull starts talking to them, which is really funny. Because then they're like, is Mary Magdalene just talking to us right now? But it's actually funny because then they steal the skull because they need like a piece of it. And then later they return it. It's so fun. It's very like silly, random things. Like there's one where they go and meet this guy that's a collector and he has this big collection of things and no one has ever seen his collection. But they know that he has Pandora's box. And they want like what's inside Pandora's box.
Yeah.
And they trick him into giving him something else, and they bring the Elder Wand that Harry Potter broke. And they were like, Harry, can we take this? And he's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. And then they go, but they couldn't just both walk in. So Hermione turned herself into Draco to walk in, and Draco turned himself into a dog. So that it was him and his familiar. But then they go and the guy gives them a tour and everything, and there's just the silliest things you could ever think of. It's like the Excalibur is there and like the Pandora's box or like just very like mythological things. It was like Jason's like the golden fleece.
Oh, okay.
It was like he's collecting all these magical things and then Hermione's just like trying to act cool but she's like, holy fuck. But anyways, yeah, I thought it was really fun. I recommend it if anyone's curious about that one. I think it was especially because I mentioned in the last episode, I read Manacled earlier this year, and it was a really good Dramione fanfic, but it was so dark and so sad. And this one was just good vibes. Like, nothing actually sad happens. It's just fun. It's funny.
So now I'm interested because Alchemized is coming out soon.
Yeah, now I'm curious.
That one is a pull and publish.
Yes.
So it's interesting to see what differences there will be.
I'm very curious, especially because it's pulling from two different franchises, pulling from Harry Potter and Handmaid's Tale. Yeah. So I have no idea what to expect. I'm very curious. But yeah, I think do you have any other questions about the fanfic that you didn't read, Shannon?
I started reading our next book club book.
Yeah, that's so fair.
That's for next episode.
Yeah, so next time we're going to read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab, which is very exciting. Shannon, you said you already started. I will start soon. Yeah, so no spoilers in that.
Spoilers, but we'll probably also talk about in that one how we saw V. Schwab when she came to the city that we live in.
Exactly. This is another little spoiler for our activity for next podcast. But yeah, so thank you so much for listening. Let us know what you thought if you did read Irresistible Urge or if you did read Mortifying Ordeal. Did you read one or the other? What did you think? Did you compare, contrast, any thoughts? Let us know. And you can comment on our on the Spotify. There's a comment section, or you can also email us at betweenthebookspod@gmail.com.
And we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.